Well, howdy there, folks. James, Political Friar, coming to you again. I got the law hat on, so we're going to talk about a legal topic today. It's not a specific case or ruling. I'm just going to talk about a legal concept, and it's the hardest one, in my opinion, to understand because it's also so fundamental. It's causation. Why did something happen? It's a difficult question. Every 2-year-old asks it incessantly. It's real annoying. Why? Why? Everybody knows that you can ask the question why after every answer, and it will always be relevant until you dig down into the place where the person throws their hands up and says, "Stop asking me why." Why? Why did something happen? Because eventually you have to decide. You have to move on. You can debate the why all the way until the end of the universe, but there has to be a resolution in the law and really in life. And so, how does the law deal with causation? Well, it breaks it into two parts. The first part is pretty easy to understand. It's called cause and fact most places, but the way you can tell cause and fact is by the test but for. So here's the easy example. But for your great grandparents meeting and having your grandparent, you would not be here. But for that meeting, you don't exist. But for your grandparents meeting and having your parents, you would not be here. But for your grandparents meeting, you would not exist. But for your parents meeting and having a baby, you would not be here. But for your parents' meeting, you would not exist. This is cause and fact, and you can see the causation chain go back all the way to Adam and Eve and the God declaring "Let there be light" or the Big Bang or whatever your particular theology is. But that's the causation chain with but for. It's the second part of cause is called proximate cause, and it uses but for cause to try to stick a finger on what actually caused you to exist. So, see, your grandparents' meeting is not as much. It's a cause of your existence, but it's not as much of a cause of your existence as your parents' meeting, is it? Your parents' meeting is a much more important cause, but for cause of your existence. And so we would say your parents' meeting is a more proximate, that is, more close to, proximate means close to, more close to the actual cause, the sort of right cause, this cause that makes sense to a reasonable person. And we are talking in much squishier language around proximate cause because it is more of a sense of things, a justice type of analysis, because you can't just put your finger on it and say that was it most of the time. Most of the time, there's competing but for causes. Indeed, with your parents, there are. Is your mother being born the but for the proximate cause of your existence, or your father being born the proximate cause of your existence? Well, we start digging into the analysis and start saying, well, we know that my parents meeting is a but for cause of my existence. So maybe that's the proximate cause. But then they had a relationship. Did your mom pursue your dad, or did your dad pursue your mom? Maybe the pursuit is the proximate but for cause. And therein lies the real area for advocacy, and where we're always arguing around things in politics and law and everywhere else. Most of the time, it's in choosing the but for cause. At least the most honest arguments are. Sometimes arguments are made up out of whole cloth for other reasons, but if you're having a reasonable argument with somebody, most of the time you're arguing over proximate cause. See, let's apply it to history briefly. The proximate cause of World War II was Hitler's existence. Of course it was. He had the most to do with the contours of World War II happening. But there's other but for causes for World War II, right? Like Woodrow Wilson. Wilson didn't pursue the offensive in 1918 into the heart of Germany and occupy it. That's a but for cause. Who is more responsible for World War II, Woodrow Wilson or Hitler? And we can have this argument historically. I mean, the answer is Hitler, but that is the reasonable person coming to a reasonable conclusion on identifying the cause of an event. And so when you're thinking about why something happened, take the time to break it up into those two pieces, and I think you might find yourself more satisfied with your answers. Break it up into, but for the preceding events, this would not have happened, and then which one of those, or which couple of those but for events are the most compelling reasonably. And don't define reasonably. That's not the point. It's indefinable because it is just a sense of things. And indeed, that is what cause comes down to in the end, just a sense of things. And that's why we can argue about it. Anyway, it's just a thought. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button, please. And the like button always helps people find these things. And let me know if you want me to do more of these kind of more cerebral or academic topics rather than straight news analysis. There's a good number of legal concepts in particular that I could talk through, or history concepts too. I appreciate it. Thanks.